As he crossed the threshold into his own empire, boss Mark Denton became a stranger in his own store, ready to uncover the truth behind the customer service facade. In the heart of his own store, Mark faced a refusal so unexpected it shattered his illusion of seamless customer service. Behind the veil of his own company, Mark discovered truths that would either break or make his vision of customer service excellence. Where are you watching from? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and please complete our 1,000 subscribers for more inspiring stories. Mark Denton, the CEO of Denton Retail, one of the nation's leading retail chains, had always prided himself on the quality of service his stores provided. Yet, there was an itch of doubt, a whisper in his mind questioning the authenticity of the customer experience when he wasn't watching. With this in mind, he decided to take matters into his own hands, not with a clipboard and a suit, but with a disguise that would turn him into just another face in the crowd. On a crisp autumn morning, Mark chose his oldest jeans, a faded baseball cap, and a nondescript jacket. He was going incognito, not just to observe, but to feel the real pulse of his business. He parked his car a few blocks away from the flagship store in downtown, ensuring no one would recognize his vehicle. Walking towards the store, each step felt like an adventure into the unknown territories of his own creation. The bell above the door jingled as he entered, a sound so familiar, yet today it felt alien. The store was bustling with the usual Saturday crowd, people browsing, children tugging at their parents' hands, and the scent of new merchandise mingling with the faint aroma of coffee from the in-store cafe. Mark felt a thrill of anonymity as he wandered through the aisles, his eyes scanning not the products, but the interactions between staff and customers. He paused at the electronics section, a high-traffic area where assistance was often needed. There, he saw a young man, presumably a new employee, struggling with a customer's query about a smart TV. Mark watched, hoping to see the training he had invested in paying off. The employee, after a moment of confusion, managed to resolve the issue, but not with the confidence Mark had hoped for. Moving on, he approached the clothing section, an area where personal touch in service could make or break a sale. Here, he found his chance. A new line of winter coats had just arrived, and Mark picked one off the rack, feigning interest. He looked around for assistance, his heart beating with anticipation. Finally, he spotted her, Lisa, according to her name tag. She was leaning against a pillar, her attention buried in her smartphone. Mark cleared his throat and approached her, holding the coat up. "Excuse me, could you tell me more about this coat?" he asked, his voice neutral, trying to sound like any other customer. Lisa looked up, her eyes scanning him briefly before returning to her phone. "I'm on my break," she said, her tone flat, almost dismissive. Mark was stunned. This was not the service ethos he preached. This was not the culture he had strived to instill. He felt a mixture of disappointment and curiosity. How widespread was this attitude? Was this a one-off, or was there a systemic issue he had overlooked? He wandered deeper into the store, his mind racing. He observed other interactions, some good, some lacking. A part of him wanted to reveal who he was right then and there, to correct this anomaly, but he knew that would defeat the purpose of his mission. He needed to see more, understand more. Mark decided to explore the customer service desk next, where he heard a customer complaining about a return policy. The employee at the desk was handling it with grace, explaining the policy with patience, and even offering an alternative solution. This was more like it, but the contrast with Lisa's behavior was stark. His first day undercover was drawing to a close, and Mark's heart was heavy with the revelations, but also alight with determination. He would need to delve deeper, observe more, and perhaps, most importantly, listen to his employees. There was much to learn, much to change, and Mark Denton was just at the beginning of a journey that would redefine his understanding of leadership and service. The encounter with Lisa had left Mark with a bitter taste of reality. He'd always believed in the power of personal interaction and the warmth of customer service. But today, he felt the chill of neglect. As he moved away from the clothing section, his thoughts were a whirlwind of plans and questions. He needed to see more, to understand if this was an isolated incident or a symptom of a larger issue within his company. Mark decided to linger around the store, intentionally seeking out interactions that would either confirm his fears or quell his concerns. He headed toward the hardware section, where he found himself needing help with a set of tools he pretended to be interested in. Here, he met Tom, an older, seasoned employee whose badge indicated he'd been with the company for nearly a decade. "Excuse me, could you help me with these tools?" Mark asked, holding up a set of screwdrivers. Tom, with a warm smile, immediately stepped forward. "Of course. These are excellent for home repairs. Let me explain their uses for you," he said, diving into a detailed explanation. Mark listened, his spirits lifting slightly. This was the service he knew and loved, the kind he had built his company's reputation on. However, the relief was short-lived. As he continued his journey through the store, he encountered another employee, this time in the cosmetics area. He asked for advice on a gift set, but the response was lukewarm at best. "Just look at the labels. They explain everything," was the curt reply he received from a visibly disinterested young woman named Jenna. Mark's heart sank. Two different responses within minutes of each other. The inconsistency was jarring. He wondered about the training, the motivation, or the lack thereof. Was it the management, the work environment, or something else entirely? He decided to explore the break room, a place where employees usually let their guard down. He managed to slip in, feigning the need to check the staff-only area for a lost item. The conversations he overheard were eye-opening. There were complaints about overworking, understaffing, and a general sense of being undervalued. One employee mentioned the lack of recognition for good work, while another talked about the fear of being reprimanded for minor mistakes. The stark contrast between the front-of-house service and the back-of-house morale painted a picture Mark hadn't been prepared to see. It was clear that his company was suffering from more than just isolated incidents of poor service. There was a cultural dissonance that needed addressing. Determined to gather more evidence before making any decisions, Mark spent the rest of his day observing from different angles. He watched how employees interacted with each other, how they responded to challenging customers, and how they handled moments of downtime. One particular incident stood out. A customer was visibly upset, complaining about a product that didn't meet expectations. Mark watched as an employee, whose name tag read Sam, handled the situation. Sam listened patiently, apologized sincerely, and then did something extraordinary. He personally walked the customer to the correct product, ensuring satisfaction. This act of going above and beyond was a beacon of hope amidst the day's disappointments. As evening approached and the store began to quiet down, Mark felt a mix of emotions. There was pride in the moments of genuine service, but also a heavy weight of responsibility for the evident issues. He knew this was just the beginning. He had to delve deeper, talk to more employees, perhaps even work alongside them to truly understand the heart of Denton retail. His mission was far from over, but one thing was clear: change was necessary, and it would start with listening, understanding, and then acting. Mark left the store that day with a resolve stronger than ever, ready to confront the challenges head-on, to turn his undercover experience into a catalyst for positive change within his company. The days following Mark's undercover visit were filled with introspection and planning. He knew he couldn't act rashly. He needed comprehensive insight before any sweeping changes could be implemented. So he decided to extend his undercover operation, not just for a day, but for a week, working different shifts and departments to get a holistic view of the company's health from the ground up. Each day brought new revelations. Mark worked alongside employees in logistics, at the checkout counters, and even in the storeroom, experiencing firsthand the challenges they faced. He saw the physical toll of moving heavy merchandise, the mental strain of dealing with difficult customers, and the emotional impact of feeling underappreciated. One evening, while restocking shelves, Mark struck up a conversation with an employee, Maria, who had been with the company for 3 years. Her honesty was both refreshing and sobering. "We're told customer service is everything, but when we're stretched thin, it's hard to give each person the time they deserve," she confided. Maria's words echoed the sentiment he'd heard in the break room. The staff was overworked, and morale was low. This week of immersion gave Mark the courage to call a meeting with his top executives. He revealed his undercover experience, not with anger, but with a call to action. "We've lost sight of what makes us unique," he declared, his voice echoing through the boardroom. "Our employees are the heart of our service, yet we've not nurtured or valued them enough." The room was silent, the executives absorbing the gravity of his words. Mark proposed a series of reforms: better training, a revamped training program focusing not just on product knowledge, but on empathy, communication, and conflict resolution. Improved work conditions, addressing understaffing by hiring more employees and reducing overtime, ensuring breaks were respected and the work environment was supportive. Employee recognition, implementing an incentive system that rewarded not just sales, but exceptional customer service, teamwork, and innovation. Open communication channels, creating platforms for employees to voice concerns directly to management, fostering a culture of feedback and continuous improvement. The proposals were met with varied reactions, but Mark's passion and the undeniable evidence from his undercover findings swayed the majority. There was a consensus to move forward with the changes. Over the next few months, Mark personally oversaw the implementation of these initiatives. He participated in training sessions, worked shifts to show solidarity with his staff, and made sure every employee felt heard. The transformation was gradual but visible. Customer feedback improved, employee satisfaction surveys showed significant upticks, and there was a new energy in the stores. One day, months after his initial undercover mission, Mark revisited the store where he had first encountered Lisa. This time, he was there as himself, the CEO, but with a different purpose. He found Lisa, now more engaged, assisting a customer with genuine interest. When their eyes met, there was a moment of recognition, followed by a smile from Lisa. "I've learned a lot, sir," she said, her tone respectful and warm. Mark felt a deep sense of accomplishment. He had not only seen the problems, but had actively worked to mend them. The journey had been one of humility and leadership, of listening and acting, of understanding that the heart of any business lies in its people. As he left the store that day, Mark knew this was just the beginning of a continuous journey towards excellence. His undercover experience had not only transformed his company, but it also reshaped him as a leader, one who now walked among his employees, not just to observe, but to lead by example. Thank you for watching till the end video. I hope you enjoyed the story if you did. Don't hesitate to like the video and share it with your friends too. Subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell for more fascinating stories.